Thank you, thank you. Okay, perfect. So hi everyone. My name is Robert Mihok. I'm FSI Generative AI solution pre-sales, and I also work with hyperscalers, and I co-sign with hyperscalers. And really, before this topic is about how to get the value from the data from call recordings from chat with generative AI. Everybody's definitely interested into this, right? The Gen AI is with us for some time. But I have a guest today, David Mullins, portfolio lead for Whole Evident, with whom we are aligning our whole strategy, our whole offerings, how to approach the FSNI market as evidence. So we act as one unity, and actually we'll be having a very nice session starting next week and training all the salespeople via Sales Enablement portal on our portfolio offerings. So I would like to just give the stage to David, and just to kick off the what do we do in Evident, David, if you can take it from here for two slides. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Robert, and thank you everybody for joining. A couple of key messages in all of this. As Robert has said, we want to try and ensure that for our sales community, and indeed for all our other SMEs, that there's a common and shared understanding of what the FS&I agenda is and how we're approaching it, and we're connecting very helpfully with DataCentics to do that. This is an important slide that talks about what's happening in the market in financial services, and today we'll focus on a financial services use case. But what's happening in financial services today is there's a real inflection point taking place, not just about the adoption of AI, though that's very important as a disruptive trigger. But what we're also seeing from this research that we've done is that financial services are an early adopter of transformational technologies like the ones from DataCentics. So they're early adopters. The second thing is that we know, particularly in the areas of customer experience and indeed user experience, there's something like a global market of 1.2 trillion of opportunity out there. So there's a massive market and it's growing. Finally, I think it's worth saying that something like 70% of FS firms are already engaging in proof of concepts and pilot phases. And so there's a real opportunity for us to gather our capabilities together and get them to market. The areas of focus that we know are the following areas. The first one is what we call frictionless enterprise or frictionless experience. And these are a range of offerings that we have here. The ones in yellow that you see are actually demos that we have available and ready to go. All of these are based on delivery capability. And today we're going to see a classic example of that. As Robert has mentioned, we're doing a full spectrum view of this on Monday, in the afternoon of Monday, where we can lay out all these to you. But today is a specific example that I think will bring to life the kind of capabilities that we have in Evident and which should excite you and hopefully excite our clients as well. Like I say, if you look at the invite, you should see an invite for Monday to look at the whole spectrum of offerings. Today will be a deep dive on the DataCentics offerings and specifically on how we can gain value from basically intelligence applied to chat and chatbots. So thank you, Robert. Appreciate the introduction, and I'll hand back to you.
Amazing. Thank you, David. So as David was saying, right, the FSI companies are like early adopters of a lot of services, which gives our group a kind of advantage to experiment, but also to come and approach the client with interesting new solutions. And we see actually great demand for this solution on the market. What I also want to mention is that all these, let's say, innovation streams are also like a lot of times supported by the platform, data platforms and accelerators like wheel building, right? So like Persona 360. And I'm here to talk about one concrete accelerator we can use across different innovation streams actually. So for the introduction and kind of a setup, right now a lot of buzz around generative AI, around ChatGPT, large language models, and how to leverage it in the business. The main message from us today around this is it's not just about the chat itself, right? Because you can use it in other ways to automatically process vast amounts of data in the company. You can extract lots of value, from the structured calls, call transcripts, and use it, for the customer success. So let's jump into it. But the thing is that actually probably in every organization and even FSI companies, the data are not always very organized, and companies need help with that. And to do that, we need to start by building some platform. And a couple of years back, this is my favorite slide. This was basically impossible, right? So typical data platform in banks look like this, partial different technologies, across teams. And if you really wanted to do some AI engine that would bring value to customers, it was quite impossible. And of course, large language models were not even there yet. So fortunately, what's happening nowadays, companies like Databricks are wrapping up the productivity of data people inside the company. All can be done under one roof, which is also possible only thanks to the hyperscalers and the growth of the cloud platform like Azure, GCP, AWS that really evolved massively. And now it's just much easier to develop AI solutions on top of these platforms and use large language models, which is also then cost effective depending on the use case that we want to do. So the thing is that actually, in FS&I and particularly as accelerators, there are many use cases accelerators. But today we are focusing on one particular group that is leveraging the call recordings and chats, or basically any communication between the bank or any corporate with the client. While this communication typically happens over the call center or help desk and so on. And there's actually a lot of this stuff happening during the calls and chat exchanges between the client and a banker, or with the with the client and the company. Plus, there's a lot of information in it. And we have used a customer data platform module for contact center for processing this unstructured data before. It was part actually of our Persona 360 solution, which is listed on on Azure AWS Marketplace and Databricks, was part of composable customer data platform. But until the large language models came in, we could do all these use cases like retention campaigns, upsell potentials, customer experience, topic detention, etc. But it was a little bit more complicated, right, to extract the value and to scale it while keeping the costs down, right? Because before it was done by some combination of natural language processes techniques, some combination of some machine learning models, and of course some simpler rule-based systems. But now it's just a little bit easier. So now with large language models, we can actually build a solution that really enables us to do new use cases, and there's really a rapidly growing demand for these solutions. So first, one of the use cases that we see is identifying new leads and opportunities in call recordings and chat messages. We can enrich existing models and basically extract the information from the data sets and leveraging the risk and the CRM processes, bringing something extra to existing models, or we can just automate some scanning and monitoring processes, right? So in the back office, there's a lot of communication that some quality managers or some leaders are listening to the calls and they need to discover some behavior or maybe improve the sales quality. But this is very time consuming activity and can be actually automatized and definitely make it much more efficient. And last but not least, we can sometimes just want to extract the information from the PDFs, documents, or third-party documents, or some annual reports of the companies. And actually, every time this happens, a lot of these documents come in different shapes, different format. So it can be really heavy manual work. But now with generative AI, it's much simpler, and we can do that easily. So question is probably how we can do it. And this is basically it. So it's still Persona as a core solution, but this specific module is called the LLM Inspector with quite general concept. And I will just try to zoom in a little bit how it works and based on which principles it is built. So first we have an input. We have a call recording or chat or email. Then you're feeding this data set to a solution built in the cloud, can be built on Databricks platform. And we are using some large language model, can be either open source or private one, as there is a variety of them right on the market, and it depends on the use case and test what you want to do and maybe specific data. But in a general, this is actually the part of the solution that processes the data and tries to search in the data and search data and try to find some value. And then we have the third module that is actually producing the outputs and creating unstructured format of the data. So actually imagine it, for every call we can have hundreds of different calls or chat or conversation, where you have everything, and then we trying to search in the data for some concrete thing, and the output is a nice table that gives you idea what's going on actually in the organization. Here, just like the little bit comparison, because I talk about open source and private, transcription model. So basically, right, just to compare the price of 40,000 calls, we just do the POC now for one of the clients. Actually, this client just wants to see what are the most common topics, so topic detection, and they also want to see if they cannot automatize some processes, what are the clients looking for, actually in internet bankings. So this is a very nice use case, and you can see like the prices are similar, and then it depends on what infrastructure, what cloud the client is using, and what is like the typical use case. So now, if we dig deeper one level down through, comparing to what I was showing here, and we go to a little bit more, let's say, focused, platform, it actually looks like this. So typically, we have some source system where we're getting the data from. So it can be, some call center like Anywhere 365, Nice CX1, Genesis, or some business application made for call centers and help desk. We extract the data automatically, with Databricks. We store the data, and then we use some speech to text conversion, open source, or open Azure Open AI services or other tool. It's down to preference, and a little bit different maybe in the price. And once we have all the call transcripts, we can start searching, right? You can start searching in the calls. And at this stage, right, we can connect the data with other data like text messages or inbound emails, or basically, text format data. And to search in this is like, where the magic happens. To search in the data, we are using the large language models, LLMs. And what happens in the solution? So imagine, for example, for a use case, we're trying to investigate some call recording between an agent, bank agent, and a client. And we want to make sure that, let's say, the client is not somehow misleading the client on the phone, right? So actually, what we do is like we identify a very specific set of questions. For example, we can call them like some red flag scenarios, where the agent would be misleading the client or would be breaking some compliance. So for example, we have a red flag question that, I don't know, agent is calling from his private phone number, or agent wants to meet with a client somewhere in the bar, or something like this. And we want to take this question and run it, against every call transcript in the calls, and use a large language model to actually search in a chat, search in a call transcript, and turn back the results that if this thing happened or it didn't happen, right? And then this result is stored in something we call like the feature store. It's called using Databricks. Feature store is like traditional concept how to store the data. They're actually going for some more predictive, model for some specific data products. So actually imagine it as just another big table where, like, for every call that we have, or every which represents some row, we have some unlimited columns as different values that we're trying to look for, or some questions. And it's really just a matter of, the use case and, the costs that, client wants to build. And now when we have all this data in actually a feature store table, we can build some, specific data, data products, some specific solutions for different departments. So we already were talking about the like compliance or investigation of call investigation. We actually do it for one local bank. That actually solution that continuously monitors like call recordings and flags the ones where some rules are broken, or we can build it for some risk department. So you can use the same data actually and ask different questions. So for example, if client is not over promising that he will pay the loan, or he will not pay the loan, We actually have a very nice use case for that. We do with one of the banks that is, the big lender, and we try to evaluate from call transcripts the probability if client will pay the loan or will not pay a loan. Or we can build some call center solution for operations. So, we can have some nice dashboards to visualize like the performance of the team. And for example, what are the top topics discussed, and find the potential to really cut operation costs. And, I already talked to you about that. We already have this use case with one of the insurance company that actually wants to identify what are the most discussed topics and then focus on these topics. So this is like very, very simple use case. But also there is another use case for another bank that wants to see, okay, what are the most common topics discussed on the phone, and possibly if some internet banking cannot be improved, so clients don't have to call, but they will find information on the internet banking much easily. And last but not least, you can use it in CRM models, upselling, cross-selling, detecting client interest, and for something extra. So one quick case study from one of our clients. We implemented in the area of this call recording inspection. And what we've been doing, we've been just testing, like 12 different scenarios, or this, let's say, red flags questions, and benchmarking them against like standard human-based process. So actually, human was randomly picking the calls and sampling and investigating them manually. So we had the LLM solution, we had comparing to real person. And what it actually showed, it turned out that with using the large language models, you will get quite a similar accuracy. So it was like around 90% of extracted calls and catching the red flag. But what is the game changer actually here, and that you can do it now for all the calls, right? So when you had it like the human driven or human picking the calls and checking for the quality, you had to pick few calls, maybe tens, maybe hundreds of calls out of the thousands. Now it can be done, it can be scaled out, and with 90% accuracy, it's still good enough. So this is quite nice, and we see a huge potential for this. Of course, the LLMs sometimes are not accurate. I think in Gen AI you see huge development on the market. We're already waiting for GPT-5, right, from OpenAI. So maybe some specific things, some local things will not be understood, but still, like since you can do it 24/7 with the LLMs, you can cut the cost down, and maybe you don't have to hire some concrete people or switch their focus to some other things. So once you're at a stage that you have some use case, it doesn't just end usually, right? So it's just the beginning, because you can reuse the data you already have for other use cases, which I already talked about. Some of these use cases are quite complex. Some are probably less complex. Some have maybe some higher business potential. Some would be maybe some just very, very small productivity, upgrades, tweaks. But it really depends on concrete company and a business case. But here you can find a top, 8 use cases to really think about what you could come up and bring to a client and talk with them about. So we will definitely share the presentation with you after the call. We'll send you the mailing, so you will have it available, and you can check for that. So what's next for this concrete topic? Definitely, right? When you discuss with your clients, it's hard to judge before you sit on your own and have some hands-on experience. So we also always ask clients, okay, let's do POC. It doesn't have to be a big one. It can be super cost effective. We can show the clients how it works, give them really a source code into their platform, spend some time fine-tuning it into the particular needs. And really this pilot can start from very small use case, few phone calls, show them how they work. Typically it can be around 10K euro. Sometimes if this is like a really good use case and the client is excited and there's like a really potential that it will be running then in the cloud, we can sometimes engage our cloud partners, the hyperscalers, maybe to help us fund this approach, this accelerator, this product. And then once client starts building the backlog of more use cases, so he wants to do more use cases, the whole business idea just starts to make much bigger sense. And how we usually operate, clients usually can buy the solution, let's say one-off. So we will build it for them, usually 50K euro, something like this. And, then client can continue developing on their own, or, they can choose to keep working with us. So it's actually not mutually exclusive. We can do both. We can either sell it to them, or we can do like a joint strike team. So, client can buy it from us, but then with Evident, with us as consultative partner, they will accelerate the other use cases. And this is actually with all the integration projects that lay. This is where the money is. So thank you very much. That was it today from our side regarding the presentation of the solution, regarding the partner portal, regarding what's coming next in FS&I industry. So starting from next week, and then possibly if there are any questions, so I'm happy to try to answer them, or definitely we can take it offline. So happy to discuss. Thank you so much, everyone. Exciting for collaboration, and if there is anything, looking forward to more collaboration with you. And I wish you a very, very nice day all. Have a good day.